All right, when we're talking about doing the couch stretch, we're talking about stretching out the interior chain of our body. So ideally, or mainly, people are thinking about stretching out the hip flexors as well as the quads. I kind of refer to it as the quad stretch. But another thing that we need to remember is that it's also stretching out this interior fascia of the lower leg. So you're also going into plantar flexion of the foot and the ankle, which is really nice, and you're opening up all this white tissue along the front side, pulling all the ligaments, tendons around that knee area. So I used to think that my lower back pain was primarily due to the fact that I was really tight on my posterior chain on the back side, but it's not until recently, since I've started to do this couch stretch and I've been working on that interior chain stretch, I've been really starting to feel almost kind of well balanced as far as flexibility goes on both sides. So in order to get to the stretch, you want to make yourself somewhat comfortable. So you can see here I'm on a hardwood floor, so I'm taking a yoga mat and I'm quartering it up or eighthing it up, whatever, folding one on top of the other. You're going to want to try to see if you can get your knee as close as you can to the wall. And then for the foot, I like to either wear thick socks or just use a pillow like this. So I'm going to get into the stretch. So here we go. I'm going to put my stabilizing foot here just to help support my body. So I'll put one hand on the ground and then I'll lift up the stretching side leg. And as I do that, I put the pillow underneath the top of the foot. From here, I'm going to slide down. And this is going to be where our first regression is going to start. So you're not going to be in this lunging position with this front leg. So the front leg, I'm actually on my knee, almost in this kneeling position. So to talk about this, what we're really trying to do when we're doing this stretch is we're trying to open up the front of the hip right here. So we want to make sure that our glutes are going to be engaged and that we're also going into a posterior tilt of the hips. So that means that you're pulling your rib cage down and you're creating a nice flat lower back. So in this first variation, this is going to be the easiest variation, trying to get your knee almost touching the wall or all the way against the wall if you can. You're going to make sure that you're engaging your glutes, rolling your hips into that posterior pelvic tilt, and now you're going to feel that engagement along the front side of your leg into your quads and up into your hip flexors. So just passively stretching isn't really going to give you the benefit that you want. What we need to do is we need to learn to get stronger in these end range of motion if we're going to end up controlling ourselves and having the ability to use these ranges of motion. So I do spend time, like the first 30 seconds, I will be in this passive stretch where I'm relaxing my body. I'm trying to get used to just being in this position. And then what I'll do is I'll take 10 seconds and what I'll do is I'll engage my glutes. I'm going to push that foot into the pillow, into the wall, and I'm going to drive my knee into the ground and I'm going to hold that contraction. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. At the end of one, I'll let out an exhale and I'll just loosen up the muscles and I'll let them go. So that is a PNF technique, proprioception neuromuscular facilitation. So it's basically you're contracting and relaxing within your stretch. So now let's go into the second variation. So now you're going to put your foot into this lunging position. Your hands are still down in front of your body, but if you want some sort of assistance, you can put yoga blocks down. And again, it's going to be the same thing. We want to make sure that we're engaging our glutes, opening up the front of this hip, and we're also holding that posterior pelvic tilt. So if you don't feel like you can quite get any engagement in this position, you can always try to put your foot under a block and elevate that foot and see if that's going to help you engage as well. That's just a little side tip, but most people can just deal with their foot on the ground. So here we go. I'm going to relax for the first 30 seconds. For the next 10 seconds, I'm going to contract into the wall, pushing my foot against that pillow, driving my knee down into the ground, making sure I'm in that posterior pelvic tilt. 3, 2, 1, exhale, and relax. Now I'm going to come all the way up. This is our third variation. We're trying to be able to get our body to touch the wall here. And once again, it's the same thing in this variation. You want to make sure you're in that posterior pelvic tilt of the hips. So your rib cage is down, your lower back is flat. You're going to chill out for 30 seconds. Then the next 10 seconds, you're going to contract, pushing your foot against the wall. 8, 7, push, push, push. 4, inhale. 2, 1, relax. And then you will repeat, and so on and so on. So that's how you can get a nice, effective couch stretch into your everyday routine. Make sure you watch the video that's up above to learn more ways to incorporate movement or exercise into your life. As always, this is Mini Movement Man saying be kind to one another. Peace.